3rd, 2023. And the invocation tonight will be given by Vice Chairman Winters, and the pledge will be given by Commissioner Gilbert. Please make sure your red light is on.
Shall we pray? Heavenly Father, your Son, when the disciples asked him how to pray, you began by saying, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Tonight, that's our prayer, that what we do would be part of your kingdom. As your kingdom comes, your will be done in this community as well as in our lives. We give ourselves to you. We try to be public servants, but you're the true public servant. You gave your life for us. Thank you for that. Thank you for those that are in this room, care enough about this community to be here at this meeting for a purpose or for all the purposes. Thank you for them. I ask that all that we do tonight be in your keeping and in your hand. In Christ's name, amen.
Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Prior to turning it over to the mayor here, I'd like to welcome Doug Berry from Chamber of Commerce, the Director of Emergency Service. Mike, we're glad to have you and your people with us. Dr. Cash, along with members of the Bradley County School Board, we're thrilled to have you here. And Dr. Stone from Cleveland State Community College, a tremendous individual. Certainly glad to have you here. I'll now turn it over to the mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good evening, everyone. We also have some journalism students observing and writing about local government with us tonight. We hope you're not too entertained, but we appreciate you being here. You have a resolution coming around, Doug, if you'd like to come up, about the payment in lieu of taxes concerning the new announcement of SK Food Group last week. Doug's here to give you a brief thing on that, and then we'll ask that you put it on the agenda for next meeting.
Good evening, and thank you for having me tonight. And thank you to all of you who were able to make it out last Thursday for the announcement. It was a great day for all of us here in Bradley County. Before you is the resolution that will authorize the Industrial Development Board and the county mayor to enter into the necessary agreements to establish a payment in lieu of tax arrangement with SK Food Group. Just to summarize the project, I know we've had a lot of press, but company intends to build a little over 525,000 square feet between now and the end of 2030 in 3 phases. They'll invest $205,200,000 in that facility. In phase 1, they'll build roughly 350,000 square feet in their initial building, and they'll employ 342. Phase 2, which will come online in 2027-28, will add another, the first phase is 371, the second phase is 342 jobs. And the third phase, which comes online at the end of 2030, will add 132 jobs for a total of 840 new jobs at an average wage estimated to be approximately $44,000 a year in the production facility. And it includes full benefits, health insurance, bonuses, paid time off, 401k, long and short-term disability insurance, and educational assistance for employees, and in some cases their family through scholarship programs. The net effect of the pilot will be to, over a 15-year period, it's essentially drafted as a 3 10-year real property pilots agreements and 3 personal property agreements for each phase, each of those getting 10 years on the real property tax and 6 years on the personal property tax. We would estimate the total tax obligation without a pilot during that 15-year period of the entire agreement to be $26,388,085.39. Under the agreement, the city and the county will receive $15,850,995.93 for a total discount of $10,617,089. Break that down for you. In year one, because you have 3 phases of value adding, I estimate that the county's portion in year one on the tax rolls would be $236,902.96, growing over time to year 15 being $715,030.01. In year 16, all the pilots will be finished, and the county's annual tax payment at that point in time will be $873,081.42. $873,081.42.
Does anyone have any questions of Doug? If not, did you get it on the agenda, Cindy? Mr. Chairman?
Commissioner Slater will put it on the agenda.
Thank you, Doug. We appreciate it. We'll have it on the agenda February the 6th then. Thank you. Next, we have a proclamation I'd like to read, and then we'll ask them to come up along with the sheriff and the law enforcement committee for a photo. This is a proclamation to honor deputies Bill Higdon, Paul Johnson, Whitney Payne, and Anna Simmons for outstanding service to Bradley County. Whereas deputies Higdon, Johnson, Payne, and Simmons began their shifts on Christmas Day 2022, not knowing what the day would bring, and whereas deputies Higdon, Johnson, Payne, and Simmons were the first to respond to the call on the Christmas Day accident to remove 3 children from the catastrophic wreckage. Whereas they assessed and administered care to the 3 children until additional support arrived. Whereas Bradley County desires to recognize and honor deputies Higdon, Johnson, Payne, and Simmons for responding without hesitation their incredible bravery and dedication in the most dire circumstances. Now therefore be it resolved that the Bradley County Commission does hereby issue this proclamation of public recognition and sincere appreciation to deputies Bill Higdon, Paul Johnson, Whitney Payne, and Anna Simmons for their professionalism, selfless courage, and enormous personal sacrifice. Presented this 23rd day of January 23, signed by Commission Chairman Tom Cry and County Mayor Gary Davis. If you 4 would come up along with the sheriff, and then the EMS committee and the chairman would come down front for a picture. Law enforcement committee, I'm sorry. Thank you all. We appreciate you all being here tonight. Thank you for the work you do for Bradley County. And in case you're wondering, at our next meeting, we will be doing something similar for the other emergency service workers also that responded to that accident. I'm not going to pass out this plan unless someone wants to read it, but a resolution adopting the Bradley County Hazard Mitigation Plan to improve disaster resistance in the planning area. This is something we're asked to update periodically. And this one was put together, and actually on December the 28th, it's a, well, it's this many pages, however many, I thought they were numbered. It's about 100 pages long. The plan is, you're welcome to it. We'll be emailing it to Lori if you want her to print copies for you or whatever, but we do need to get it on the agenda next week so it can be approved. This is something that's required by FEMA and TEMA on a regular basis, so.
We'll have a volunteer to put it on the agenda. Commissioner Slater.
Thank you, I appreciate that. There was some discussion last week about the cost of disposing tires. I had actually talked to Republic that morning, but I didn't have anything to report at our meeting when it was being discussed. But we continued to have discussions with Republic after that meeting last week, and Republic has agreed after several discussions to change the tire disposal fee at the Bradley County landfill, reducing the rate from what was announced last week. And we did this once before with garbage, from $20 to $5, and most people didn't get the second follow-up. So please understand the second follow-up is coming. They have reduced the tire disposal fee, reducing the rate from what was announced last week at $10 per tire to $2.75 per tire. This is still a slight increase. Regular tires were $1.25. Now they'll be $2.75, but it's much, much better than the $10 that was announced last week. We began last week sending your assistant the septic repair program update each week, but I also am going to give it at the commission meeting because not everyone sees what's given to the commissioners. But as of Friday, January the 20th, there was 26 interested applicants. 2 permits have been issued, 2 sewer connections, 1 repair is already under construction, but no inspections have been completed as of yet, and no money has been expended as of yet. But that's where we're at, 2 weeks into the program. Any questions about any of that?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I have a question. Gary, on the tire you said went down, I also noticed on a text that was sent to me that mattresses were $50 each piece. Is that still?
I didn't have a discussion on mattresses. I know they do charge more for mattresses, but I don't know what.
What I seen on the text, and I think that actually come from the chairman, was $50
They went from 20 to 50.
each piece.
Each piece, as I understand it, it's each piece. I can now just see our county roads.
Yeah, littered with mattresses instead of tires.
If there's not any questions or any other comments, that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Anyone have any comments to the mayor? All right, reports from committees and or districts. We'll start to the right. Commissioner Beatty.
In the first district, everything's going pretty well, but I like to recognize that Matt from the RC&D's here. I'm glad he showed up to ask a lot of questions, answer a lot of questions.
You want him to come forward? Yeah, let's do it. Do it now. Matt, would you please?
Good evening, Commissioners. Just wanted to take the time to answer any questions if anyone had any at the moment.
Anyone have questions? Do you have any questions? Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes. Commissioner Alford.
On the ones that you've completed the applications for and everything, what are you finding are the major problems?
It really is site to site. You know, it could be anything from collapsed field line to baffle that needs replacing. I'd say most common repair need is you know new field lines is what we're seeing.
When you agree to fix one, though, what's your reason for fixing it? Like I think two applications have been approved. Was there an explanation as why you approved them? As like field line not right or what?
Right. Yeah. So, unfortunately, due to the number of requests we've had for permits, I haven't seen all of them yet. Mark at TDEC is getting to them as he can, but he's only able to do so many in a day. But I would say field lines are probably the most common repair need that we're seeing out there.
Would it be possible when you give us a report at the end of a week or month, whenever you're gonna be giving these reports, just put a couple of words in there like approved bad field line, approved routes, or something like that? Is that possible?
Absolutely. Sure thing.
I'd appreciate if you could. That way it gives us an idea what's the major problem throughout the whole county, probably, when you get through doing the whole thing.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Appreciate
Be
it.
happy to.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions, comments? Commissioner Beatty? Is that it? Ken?
We're having a meeting the 25th. Can you be here 25th?
I can.
Thank you so much.
Are there any
Well-
questions that you have at the moment that I can answer?
We'll have them all then. I've left all mine at home, and thank you for all the information that you have provided us. We appreciate you.
Sure thing.
Thank you, sir.
Commissioner Alford? No, after you're next. Yes.
Second district's doing well. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Blake?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Real quick, Mayor, on the tire thing, I'd heard that they had reduced their price, but we still had put in a request for them to justify the increase. That they provide that, or is that forthcoming?
They are still working on that. They've got to do that. That's something that I had asked that morning of, but we don't have that yet. But they said they would go ahead and lower the price to what I announced, and then they would continue to work on that and get that to us soon.
And I hate to assume anything, that new price is in effect as of, they were at $10 for about 2 weeks or so. I mean, is that retroactive?
All I know is they said as of this morning, it's
As of this morning.
$2.75.
We'll take it.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Collins?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just wanted to express condolences. Citizen from District 3, family, the Howell family suffered a tragic loss this past weekend. Michael Howell was killed in an accident at his home. His wife, Courtney, is a teacher at Parkview Elementary School, and their two children are both children at Parkview. So continue to remember that family in their prayer, and extend condolences to them this time. Thank you.
Commissioner Winters?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was, as many of you, was able to attend the S&K introduction to the community at the Pie Center, and what a great day that was for us to be in the Pie Center in the core receiving room, and to hear the great things about our community from people outside that are going to invest tremendously in Bradley County. But it was because of the people, and it was because of the Pie Center, that they thought the working people here and the families here and the vision of this community coming together, which was a tremendous statement on Bradley County and Cleveland, and to the chamber for presenting that, to the county schools. I have a great friend that moved from this beautiful city to Dallas, Texas, and it was just at a time that the Pie Center was still being geared up, but hadn't been really finished. And my best friend came, and I took him through the Pie Center today. And for many of you that have joined our commission, doing the Pie Center took some heavy lifting by my fellow commissioners here and the mayor and the governmental community, as it looked like such a tremendous price. But now we realize that price has brought tremendous advantage to this community, but a tremendous opportunity for our young people to find the jobs. I went through and saw young men welding, and they were so excited about welding. I said some young men going to a truck that's been identified, a tremendous, from one of our community leader companies that presented this truck, and they were climbing all over this truck to look at what the engine looked like, and they will become the mechanics that will run the trucks of our community and our world. So the Pie Center, to Dan Glasscock, he's from Dallas. He said Tennessee has it way over Dallas as far as he's concerned and what he saw. So congratulations to the county schools. Congratulations to the chamber for bringing this group in. And I think this body has been an honor to be a part of the founding of this, but also now that we've been able as a commission, this group, to celebrate it. So that really filled my cup up. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Gilbert.
I'd like to recognize Josh Taylor, 4th District School Board. Thank you for being here, Josh. Just a couple of days, or yesterday, Harry Rogers, he was one of my doctors, and he passed away soon, real quick. Don't know exactly what it was. Thinking it might have been a heart attack, but I'd like to just give my condolence to him and his family. I've been thinking about him all day long, and man, he's really took care of me. In times that I didn't know what was going on, he knew what was going on. He'd send me places to the hospital to get some stuff done. So he's really going to be missed by me. And thank you, Matt Heath, for being here. I'll have you some more questions, and we'll get together on this sewer system. We'll work side by side, I promise you. And we'll get these sewers put in for these folks. And we'll get the contractors out. We'll figure out how to do it, and I do appreciate you coming. And everything looks pretty good in the 4th District, and that's it for me.
Thank you. Commissioner Thompson.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to say that Perry worked with the MS for years, and it really floored me when I heard that he passed away. But we need to keep his family in our prayers. He's got a good family. So, but anyway, Commissioner Mason, in his absence tonight, he had a road committee meeting last week. And Mr. Chairman, the road committee met last week and voted to recommend change a portion of Hickory Road Northwest to Freeman Circle. The road changes to Freeman Circle when it crosses into Polk County. Each of you have a copy of the request to change the name along with a letter from Bradley County Chief Building Official Ron Wilson explaining why the section of the road needs to be renamed. We believe this name change will eliminate future mail and emergency service issues. I placed this recommendation in February the 6th, 2023 voting session agenda. But each one of you do have a copy from the Bradley County Road Department that states the length of that road and what needs to be done there. So that was finalized in the road committee, and we just asked that the commission vote on that at the next work session. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Goins.
District's doing well.
Thank you. Commissioner Slater.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As has already been alluded to, Perry Rogers served our community for over 30 years with our Bradley County EMS and with Bradley County Rescue. Him and his wife, Janet, were personal friends of mine. We graduated high school together and went to church together for many, many years, traveled together, vacationed together. I've seen their daughters, Katie and Carrie, become young women that are, one of them's married, one of them's engaged. And Mike, I wanted to give you the opportunity if you wanted to say a few words about Perry and what he's meant to Bradley County EMS.
Thank you, Commissioner Slater. Perry Rogers, quite literally, is one of the reasons I'm standing here tonight. I came to Cleveland in November of 1990, began employment at Bradley Memorial Hospital, and actually got to meet Janet first, and then got to know Perry as he would come into the ER, along with the like I like to call them the old guys, Joe Thomason and Perry and Danny, and the guys that's forged the way for Bradley County EMS. He persistently pulled me aside almost daily. Mike, you need to go to school, go to EMT school. And he pushed me daily. He was just a true public servant. He's, like you say, he spent 30 years retired as a assistant director to Danny Lawson. And it's just, it's been a tough weekend. But our prayers are with Janet and the girls. He's made a lot of difference in a lot of lives here in Bradley County, and we certainly appreciate his service.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Ledford.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I too, everybody knows I work at the hospital, and Perry Rogers was a friend of mine. I knew Perry from a long way back. Perry was a great, great guy. Janet, of course, I worked with her on the floors also. They don't make them much better than Perry Rogers. He will be sorely missed, and I think Perry, after he retired from EMS, he went back to school and got his nurse practitioner license, I think, and he was working at a local clinic, and I'm not sure which one, but that's one right there that will definitely be missed. My second item is I want to shout out thanks again to Doug Berry for S&K Food Group. It's a great asset for Bradley County. A lot of people think that these industries that come here, it's just short and sweet. It's not. S&K Food Group took about a year and a half to negotiate, and get all these numbers down. And Doug Berry was a leading edge on that. The mayor also was in on that. The Industrial Development Board, those folks all combined together as a group effort and made this happen. Just one more comment about when Valker came here, that industry that came up Charleston Way, Mayor, correct me if I'm wrong, took nearly 4 years to get that to be a done deal. So there's a lot of work goes into this. So I just want to send out thanks to Doug Berry, to the mayor, and to the Industrial Development Board. And the road department, I'm on that committee also. We did have that discussion and about the Tim's project there that he wanted to get done. On Spring Place Road, I live down Spring Place Road, and we had an issue with the Young Road coming out on Spring Place Road. Several wrecks happening there. Funny, tonight coming in, I passed that road, and of course, about 10 feet, 15 feet up was a van over in the ditch. So, but if we can get the left-hand turn stopped, I think that's going to help a lot. And they did put a no left turn sign up there, and it was almost immediately. And I want to send out a big thanks to Tom Collins, Bobby Long, Bobby Combs, I think his name is. Those guys just do a wonderful job, and everything I'll ever give to them, they've took care of it quickly. And one last thing, Mr. Chairman, 25 years ago today, at 3:29 p.m., my father passed away 25 years ago. It's been 25 years, but we never forget our fathers. Never will. My mother passed away 5 years. There's a difference between mothers and fathers, but it still hurts the same. So if you still have your father, hug him. Tell him you love him. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Rogers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As Commissioner Slater told us last week, that this week is School Board Appreciation Week. And so I want to say thank you to all of the Bradley County School Board members for what they do for our children, for our school system. And special thanks to Dr. Jeff Lovingood of the 7th District. But one person I do want to say thank you to especially is Josh Taylor, who attends almost, I would say, 90 to 95% of all of our meetings here at the County Commission, and is really involved and wants to know both sides, not just the school, but also on the county as well. So thank you for always attending and for being here. And thank you to all the rest of the school board members for all that you do as well. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll now go into the agenda items. Agenda item A, Commissioner Bill Winters.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I asked to be on the agenda rather than just a committee report, because this is really tonight a celebration of the partnership between Cleveland State and our commission and Bradley County in general. As you remember, you veterans of this commission, several years ago, we had to, as a commission, or asked to as a commission, to become partners with Cleveland State in the humanities building. And we came up with $250,000. And that was the best contribution, one of the best that we've ever made, because it cemented a partnership between Cleveland State and this institution, Bradley County Commission. From that time, as you all remember, our veterans remember this, as well as the new members have seen this, that our EMS board identified about 2.5 years ago, 2 years ago, that there was a limitation in the paramedic line that was in our EMS program. We had at that point about 2 EMS paramedics, and the paramedics are like the football player that actually runs the show, the quarterback. They're the person that sits in the box of the car, of the ambulance, and actually moves not only through the getting into the home, but to addresses what really needs to be done with the team that's there. So the paramedic is like the quarterback. And when we realized we just had 2 and we could work toward 12, we started looking as an EMS committee, and along with the mayor, on what we could do to make that happen, where we could actually start expanding this program. And as all of you know, we established a paramedic scholarship for Cleveland State. That was a heavy lifting by Cleveland State to do the scholarships. We made some contribution ourselves to put that in, and then the paramedics themselves used their financial aid and all to have a full scholarship at Cleveland State. We celebrated about a year and a half ago the first 2 that came through. It was a tremendous thing. But our EMS committee, within about the first of this year, maybe at the end of the summer, brought this up in a meeting and realized in that meeting that we did not have 2 more new ones to go in as paramedics, and it was a void. And what about those that were behind, that were getting ready to try to be paramedics, that were at what's called the basic stage, or that needed to move from the basic EMT to the advanced stage so they could move into becoming a paramedic? And this is a goal. For you in education, you know what the goals are for us. For you that in business, you know what the goals are for us. But you want to be a paramedic. You want to make it happen. But many times you got a working family. You're trying to fund how to do that and run the roads as you all do. So the EMS committee gave me the opportunity, with the mayor's approval, to go back and talk with the new administration there. And it was a joy for me to meet Dr. Stone. We did that in a social breakfast. And Dr. Squires, who's a great friend of mine, a budding football player with my son in flag football, got to know him very well during those growing up years at the Y. But Dr. Squires was my first contact on both of those occasions as the director of development there, or vice president for development. And he said, I think I can get the president. I said, can you get Dr. Stone? Yeah, let's have breakfast. And we had breakfast. And at that breakfast, Dr. Stone, who can say what she wants to say here in just a minute, but was so welcoming in that meeting, was listening to us, and was almost ready to say yes at the beginning, I think, because she captured what could happen for Cleveland State to take this paramedic program and expand it and make it a paramedic pathway. And it takes young people that want to use their careers and become paramedics to make that happen. So at that breakfast, I got a real positive okay from Dr. Stone and got to meet her, and we're Ohio people. We spent some time up in Dayton, Ohio. I think her house was right by my father's church, as we found out, so it's a small world. But we had a great time. I came back and reported to the mayor that it looked really good. And you have seen in your computer page from our assistant that there is a formal agreement that has been done. And that formal agreement we're celebrating tonight. And the mayor and Dr. Stone have signed this off, and we're going to be having a pathway for paramedics that will take the beginning basic medic to move that person to an advanced by going back to school for a semester, I'd say, for a semester. And then that person or persons will have the opportunity to go the next year for a year and become a paramedic at the end of that year. So I think I'm celebrating it. I think we should be celebrating tonight because some of those seated here, I hope, can become paramedics because of this. Mr. Mayor, thank you for your support. Appreciate you letting me do this.
Appreciate it. I think the first time I met the president, she'll probably tell you that I hit her up for this program. I said, you know, we started a great scholarship here a couple years ago. It's about to expire, and we want to expand it. We want to continue it, but we also want to expand it. And the reason being, we need paramedics tremendously, but we also need AEMTs, and I guess they call them BEMTs now. They change the acronyms on me all the time. But so now if we don't have two, and I've already talked to her about expanding the two in the future, but if we don't have two people that are interested in becoming paramedics, because a lot of times the AEMT is pretty content where they're at, I guess you would say. We need to encourage them more to move on up to paramedic, but we may not have two people that are AEMTs that are interested in being paramedics, but we might have an EMT that would like to be an AEMT. So basically what this new addendum, the way they did it, the continuing of the scholarship contract with us, it expands it to accept AEMTs and BEMTs also. So if somebody on the street, we're going to go first with paramedics, but if we don't fill paramedics, then we'll go to AEMTs. And if we don't fill AEMTs, somebody on the street wants to become a BEMT, we'll have a scholarship for them also. So anybody interested in this path, as commissioners called it, will have a scholarship for a limited number each year. And that's going to take time, but that will get us where we need to be in the near future. And then if we can expand the number of those in the future, we'll really be moving. But it's great to be able to renew the contract and expand it. And Dr. Stone, if you'd like to come up and say whatever you'd like to say on behalf of Cleveland State, but it's been a great partnership. We were partners in building the beautiful building they have over there, one of many partners. And the first idea, as was mentioned, was we need to take this beautiful building now and get us some paramedics through that program. And so it's working great, and we appreciate everything that Cleveland State does.
Well, thank you. And commissioners, thank you for inviting me this evening. We are so grateful for your support. As you mentioned, the $250,000 that we received really helped us to build a building on our campus, which was the first building that I think was built over 40 years. So, and it has really enhanced what we are doing in terms of our health and sciences training on our campus. Since 2015, Cleveland State has credentialed over 450 people in EMT, advanced EMT, and paramedic programs. And that is through the strong leadership of our program director, Devette Carter there, so thank you for that. As Gary Davis, as our mayor mentioned, we have a relationship with Cleveland State and Bradley County, and that was to do the advanced EMT program to the paramedic program. And as Vice Chairman Winters, when we met, he said, well, we don't always have people who want to go that route, or we don't have people who are interested. So we really need to expand that to EMT, to advanced EMT program. So we took that back to our campus, John Squires and I, and we're able to talk to the foundation to approve 2 spots every year And I think that contract goes for the next couple years at least. And so we are happy to do it. So after financial aid and scholarships are applied, the foundation will kick in the rest of the money, so there is no cost. That's tuition, that's fees, that's books for any of the participants in this program. So thank you for the opportunity. I think that's all I have. Oh, I did want to acknowledge one other thing. We have a past student and a current student here right now. So we are so proud to have served them in this capacity. So thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. And Mike, I don't want to put you on the spot, but if you would introduce the past and the current
Great.
students right now, I'd appreciate it.
I feel Devette's eyes rolling because every time I get up to speak, she's like, Dr. Stone, Dr. Squires, thank you guys so much, and the commission. This is huge in this economy that we're dealing with right now. It is a struggle. This is my 36th year in emergency services. I've never seen our industry quite the shape it's in. This is an avenue that, this is what makes Bradley County great. The county, Cleveland State has been a staple here. I went to MT school there in 2005 in a room way back in some obscure building, back in the trees somewhere. If you guys get a chance to go see this humanities building and the facilities, the EMS facilities they have, state of the art. It's phenomenal. But we have Miss Frady, Amber Frady, was one of the initial recipients of the Danny Lawson Paramedic Scholarship Fund, and she graduated last August and has been practicing. Now this is a 1 calendar year for a paramedic. She worked full-time that entire time and went to school full-time. I don't even think you took a day off during that time. I did that several years ago. It's the most brutal year of one's life, but she has hit the road running, and she is one of the very first recipients of that scholarship. So thank you, Cleveland State and Commission, for Miss Frady. Kayla Vines is one of our current students this year. She has been with Bradley County about 3 years now. Yeah. This young lady is remarkable. She came to us as a basic. She worked her way through AEMT school while working full time, and she said, "I want to go to paramedic school." And she has just absolutely. I didn't think she was ready, but she has just absolutely proved me wrong. She has the servant's heart, and she is just absolutely phenomenal. And so we're very proud that these two have been able to be recipients of your hard work along with Cleveland State, and we're just very fortunate that we live in a community that when they see a need, we don't sit around, we address it and we fix it, and we thank you.
Thank you, Mike. And again, thank you, Cleveland State, for the partnership for another 2 years. Look forward to many more than that. And talk it up. We need more students, okay? Appreciate the work you all do. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Whoop. Communications from the audience. I forgot to put my red light on here. So is there anyone? Yes, please.
Deborah Gleason, 4th District, and condolences to the families who've lost their family members. I know that's a hard thing to have to deal with, so my condolences. Last month, I brought up a concern that I thought by now we would have received a reply from this commission or a particular commissioner. Let me be clear, the person I was referring to on December 19th, 2022 at the commissioners' meeting that day did not ask me then or now to speak on their behalf regarding this matter. What took place on December 5th, 2022 here in this room troubled me considerably. And since there has been no one on this commission board willing to speak out against the commissioner's treatment of one of the people of this community, I felt compelled to. It appears that chivalry no longer exists among noblemen and gentlemen. No more honor, courtesy, justice, or readiness to help the abused. Therefore, I would like to make a few points about this matter since this commissioner in question failed to give a public apology as requested at the least, or for this commission to have this commissioner removed from the commission at the most. Aside from this unacceptable behavior by this commissioner, a comment was made by them stating that he probably won't ever call this aforementioned person. Based on that, I cite the following. The Tennessee Code annotated section 3916-402, part 4, official misconduct. Under paragraph A public servant commits an offense who with intent to obtain a benefit or to harm another intentionally or knowingly, number 3 of that section, quote, refrains from performing a duty that is imposed by law or that is clearly inherent in the nature of the public servant's office or employment, unquote, carries a potential ramification as follows. If the defendant's conduct violates this section and other criminal statutes, nothing in this subsection E shall be construed or prohibiting prosecution and conviction for theft or any other such applicable offense in this addition to or in lieu of prosecution and conviction for a violation of this section. This is just to state the serious, in our opinion, my opinion, many people's opinion, this was serious, and I took offense. As a woman, because I felt that the person was very chauvinistic, and the way that they talked to the individual, that there was no reason to speak to them in that manner, and then to say that they would not follow through with their obligations to connect with that individual. So I just want to let you know that there is myself and others that are very concerned that this behavior took place, and we've heard nothing about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Communication from the audience. Going once, twice, 3 times. The announcements, next meeting, voting session Monday, February the 6th at 7 p.m. here at the courthouse. Upcoming events, septic system cost sharing ad hoc committee. January the 25th, 10 a.m. in the commission room. Emergency Services Committee, January the 27th, noon at the Inman Street Station. And that's it.